Betty Nambooze bakireke mama mukono olwaleero avudde mu mbeera lwa musajja mukulu Balamu Balugahale minisita w'abaana abavubuka na biki bwe bityo yavaayo n'alimba ensi ng'abasibe ba NUP bagenda okuteebwa era n'agamba ayogere ne General Museveni mbu guno omwezi gw'omunana General Museveni agenda kubata. Betty Nambooze aga omwezi guggwako ennaku z'omwezi abawazi bagenda okuteerako abaana ziweddeko abaana tebatebwa tewali yenyeenya lwaki yalimba eggwanga era ayagala agobwe kuba minisita kubanga mulimbi abantu abalimba bwe batubasana okubeera nga beesembereza wadde okubanga balina obukulembeze n'akamu n'akettondo. Jjukira nti Balamu Balugahale yavaayo n'agamba nga bakamu obwa minisita ne gy'ojjuza wano mu palamenti yagambye nti mu kwogera kwa Museveni wanamu bakuza olunaku lw'abavubuka agenda kuyimbula abavubuka ba National Platform abaasaba abayitirivu abali mu nkomyo abatalina musango. Wabula ne gye buli eno olunaku twaluvaamu dda abavubuka tewali n'omu ateebwa wabula bongera kuwamba. Ebyo nno ebitabudde maama Betty Nambooze bakireke. Njagala tugende tufune ebigambo bye abyeyogerere naawe obyewulirireko.
Balamu muwa amagezi yeetonde nga palamenti ekyali eyo gyeyagenze kubanga olunaakoma wano mu palamenti eyawamu ngenda kuleeta ekiteeso banaaba tannavaayo okwetonda oba kulagira Museveni ayogere. Twagala Museveni ayogere ku nsonga y'abaana baffe abasibiddwa nga Balamu bwe yatusuubiza nti emuluma nnyo. Nomanyi Balamu yali wali n'agamba bujjo najjukiza Museveni nti oli wakisa. And he said, I reminded Mr. Museveni of his kindness. So you remind somebody, why? Nkujjukiza oli wakisa. Lekera osibira abalala abanno obwereere. Twagala mwami Museveni aveeyo ayogere nga Balamu bwe yasuubiza eggwanga. Oba Balamu yeetondera eggwanga alibulire lwaki agufuddemu walabikako mu palamenti abaze kulimba. Bw'atakikole palamenti bweneekomawo okutuula wano mu buvunaanyizibwa bwange nga minisita wa internal affairs ensonga zino mu minisitule mwe zigwa kijja kuleeta ekiteeso nti nno minisita Balamu tumufuumule mu palamenti kubanga buli walabikako abazze kwogera bya bulimba. Honorable Balamu Balugahale, the one who came from far. Isn't that the meaning of his name? You remember when in his maiden speech in Parliament, he said that he had talked to His Excellency, the President of Uganda, and that the President had promised him that our people who were arrested, our young people who were arrested since 2021 will be released as long as we provided him with the list of those people. The leader of opposition was so reluctant, and us all were so reluctant to release this list. But because we thought that Mr. Balamu would use that as an excuse, we even went ahead to produce the list of those people who are being held by police, by the army, and other security organs wrongfully. Last week, Balamu was back to Parliament, and you remember I asked him about this matter, that let's get to know, before you tell us anything new, first brief us about what you promised to Parliament. Because Balamu should learn that on the floor of Parliament, we tell Ugandans truth. This is not a platform for politicking. It is different from the TikTok sessions that has been going through, you know, on Facebook, on X, on WhatsApp, everywhere, at other platforms. At other platforms, you can say anything you want. But when you are in Parliament and you talk as a minister, that makes it, you know, official. And you know, you don't come to Parliament and start politicking around. So last week Balamu told Ugandans that wait on Monday, and he said, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, this should go on record. On Monday, Mr. Museveni is going to tell the country something about the detained young people. And he said, and I want to quote him, that Mr. Museveni is going to stand the surety the young people who are being held, because when they were taken to the court-martial, they did not have substantial witnesses. So Mr. Museveni is going to stand surety. You remember, after some few minutes, the speaker ordered that those words be expunged from the Hansard. I know he was trying to save Balamu, but even if you expand words from the Hansard, some of us already have them recorded in our brain. You can't make them vanish. So Mr. Balamu told Ugandans that the president of Uganda, Mr. Museveni, was going to tell Ugandans something on Monday about the detained young people belonging to my party, the National Unity Platform, not only those belonging to the National Unity Platform, but opposition generally, those Ugandans who are being held in detention centers. You know, it is so sad that you get young people at a time, at a period of their life when they are supposed to be productive, and you incarcerate them for no offense. And then a minister turns up ahead of the National Youth Day celebrations and tell Ugandans that on the National Youth Day, the president is going to address the nation about those imprisoned young people. And now that the day was celebrated and the ceremonies are over, I want to ask Mr. Balamu, maybe if any one of you heard Mr. Museveni saying anything about our detained young people, please inform me. But according to me, I've checked everywhere, I've listened to Mr. Museveni's speech over and over. I don't hear him mentioning anything to do with our detained young people. So now I want to challenge Balamu to come out and tell us. He told the parliament, and he was answering back my question, the question I had raised on behalf of those people who are detained. And he told the parliament that come Monday, the 1st of August, the president was going to address the nation about those imprisoned young people. Those people are being held in military detentions. The young people who are being paraded for no reason in the court martial. So, Mr. Balamu, you either have to resign or come clean about this matter. It is you who started it. He started this talk. I don't want to believe that Balamu, when he joined government, he chose to use our suffering younger people as a tool of politicking. That he wants to make news and he comes to parliament and makes statements about suffering Ugandans. So this is his time to come clean. Let him come out and tell us, now that the president has not told us anything about the detained young people, what has Balamu got to tell us? He should come out and tell Ugandans what next. Because in civilized countries, when you say such things and they don't happen, you resign. You say, you see, or you come out and apologize. At least you come out and apologize, because, you know, we waited. He made some of us listen to Museveni when we had no intentions of doing so. You know, we attentively listened, thinking that the man was going to address us on why he's causing the incarceration of young people at such a time. You know, somebody wasting, you know, why you food in prison. It is so sad, and I want to appeal to the officers who sit on the court martial. Really, it is an abuse that you allow somebody for political reasons to abuse the court martial. We have heard of people who have gone, like the people who went to search actually was home. They planted the exhibits on him. And there is evidence that these exhibits were just planted on him, and then the next day he was made to appear before the court martial. Then the other day, Balamu, because he was fooling Parliament around so that we could listen to him. He made a very big promise in the name of the President of Uganda. At least Mr. Museveni, although he's in that office illegally, but he should spare the dignity of that office. The dignity of that office should be preserved. When they said that the President is going to address the nation about this, it must happen. But he never talked about that matter, even in the periphery. So, I'm calling on Balamu to do two honorable things. One, either to apologize or resign. Because he told us that on Monday, 1st of August, Mr. Museveni was going to address the nation on the issues to do with the imprisoned, the detained young people. And they are in dozens. Their younger families are suffering. We don't know why they are not being taken to civil courts like any other Ugandans to be tried. So, even Mr. Kayindo Tafire, these are some of the abuses we are talking about. For somebody to plant exhibits on you and take you to court martial as if you are an offender before, who should appear before the court martial, when in actual fact these are innocent Ugandans who have done nothing, but government is using the army to harass Ugandans. And lastly, if you visit my constituency, you will find that 300 homes were destroyed by UPDF. The over-involvement of UPDF in policing the country is also worrying. We don't know, the army is supposed to deal with the enemies of this country. We have a police force which should be used to enforce laws. But we find our army everywhere, including at funerals, doing Muserike work. Before Museveni's time, we had a local police force called the local administration police. Baganda nga babayita ba Muserike. These would be responsible for crowd control during functions, enforcement of simple regulations, urban authority rules and regulations, sub-count, local administration laws and the regulations. They were called Bamusirike. That force was merged with the police force. But what you find in Uganda today is that even in that today, such work is now being done by UPDF. You find people with AK-47 at funerals guarding cars. At weddings, a UPDF officer at a wedding, making sure that those people are shared, who are, people who are being served the food don't fight for food, and you find UPDF there. The army is being abused. In the past, people would say that of all the things Mr. Museveni has failed to do, at least he has been able to professionalize the army. But now the army has been decreased to just a small militia force, which you find everywhere, at funerals, at weddings, This is so sad. Armies are supposed to deal with enemies of the state. When you take a national army to enforce laws, you are in essence saying that the people in that country have become the enemies of the state. Kyekitegeeza bw'okwata eggye ly'eggwanga n'oligamba ligende likola emirimu gya poliisi, ligendeyo ku byalo, likwate abatazimbye butandaalo, limenye amayumba g'abantu be bagamba abazimbye simanyi ku lweru, likuume emmotoka ku nnyimbe ne ku mbaga, lirabe nga abantu basimba ab'amagye babeerewo n'emmundu zaabwe AK-47 okusobozesa abantu okusimba layini bulungi nga bafuna emmere ku mbaga. Eggye lya Uganda balyonoonye. Kooti y'amagye eyali ey'enkizo etasimbwasimbwamu bantu ba busangosango, kakati gye batwala abaana baffe abatalina misango gye bazizza, gye babatwala mu kooti y'amagye. Mbabuuza mu ofisa bamyusiza ebitogi bassebo nga mutuddeawo mu kkooti y'amagye mwe muwulira mutya nga babasimbiddewo abaana bano abatalina kye bakoze nga nammwe mutuddeawo baafande bajje eno n'ennyota zammwe mutudde nti muwuliriza abaana abatalina musango gwe balina kulabika mu maaso gammwe. UPDF erimu ab'amagye abaasoma singa babadde b'amagye nga gali agambini n'alirowoozeza nti obutasoma bwe bubadaaza ne bano abasajja bannamagye ne baloya bo tebakiraba nti bakozesebwa bubi.
Tolamba obadde omulimu omuzibu.
Oddira
Beti Nambooze bakireke bw'atyo bw'avudde mu mbeera bw'atabuse olw'ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga abantu baffe abatulugunyizibwa abatusibibwa awatali musango abataddwa mu nkomyo nga batugaa tugenda kubata nga babafuulanga beti tuguyite omusingo babafuula beti nti bo balina kubeerawo nga bazanyirako obuzanyizi bo bye baagala kitegeera kati nno tulina okusituka bannayuganda tulina okubaako kye tukola tulina okwekemba tulina okutaasa eggwanga lyaffe guno omulimu gugwo guno omulimu gwange guno omulimu gwaffe ffe tulina okwerwanirira nze naawe tewali agenda tutulwanirira tulina okukikola ffe tulina okukyekolera kubanga ebintu byalaka byatusobako ebintu byalaka byagenda byadankaana kati mulimu gwo obuvunaanyizibwa bunange tusobola nga tutereeza eggwanga tusobola nga tutereeza ensi yaffe oba oliawo Uganda eneeterera oba oliawo ensi yaffe eneeterera oba oliawo tunaafuna eggwanga eddone tunaafuna ensi ennungi ffe nagaliramu nga tetukyasibwa tetukyawambibwa tetukyabuzibwawo kyeyonoonere wabula eggwanga laffe litwalibwa nga ery'omugaso. Omukama Katonda abanku tujja kuba banange mweraba.